I discovered this, a new barbecue meat. Let me show you what it is and what you can do with it.
Big thanks to Kamado Joe for sponsoring this episode.
This is it, a cow wing. You've never heard of it? That's totally normal. I never heard of it too, because this does not exist. Well, it does exist, it's in the cow, but we never extracted it from the cow to turn it into delicious barbecue. If you look at this, you can see the cow's shoulder blade. Do you know which steak sits on top of the shoulder blade? Comment down below if you know. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is clean this up a little bit more, because there is some fat on top of this and a little bit of silver skin. In itself, that's fine, but I want to clean it up because we're going to smoke it for a long time and make it soft, juicy and delicious. And therefore, the meat has to be exposed to the barbecue elements. That's a bit of fiddling, and you can ask your butcher to do it for you, of course. And this is the end result, beautiful dark red meat ready to be smoked. But I haven't told you which piece of meat sits on top of this bone. And if you guessed it right, it's the flat iron steak that sits on this bone. But together, as a whole, as a roast, I'm calling it the cow wing, because this is perfect to barbecue. Now, of course, I have to give some credit to Van der Zee, who brought me this. It's one of our butchers that work with us, and they had this great idea to cook this, and they're putting this in their shop. So if you're looking for it and you live in the Netherlands, go to the Hanos and pick one of these up. This is it. We need to get flavor on that beef to make it even better, so it becomes really, really tasty. And normally you can use mayonnaise or mustard, but I have another version of a binder for you that I'm sure you're gonna love. First, I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of olive oil. To that, I'm going to add 2 cloves of garlic, rosemary leaves of 1 twig, thyme leaves of 2 twigs, a couple of twigs of parsley, a little pinch of salt, and about 1/2 teaspoon of ground pepper. This goes into the blender and I'm going to grind it fine. And now the binder goes onto the meat, and look at that. It turned into a smooth paste, and this is so flavorful and so potent. It's almost like a marinade. And it's just going to make the best base layer for flavor ever. Just rub it in, and you're only going to need a little bit. Now, of course, if you have a leftover like I do, you can use this and put this on some bread, toast it up while you're barbecuing, or you can put this even on your salad as a dressing. Now it's time to add more flavor, and I'll be adding the PitmasterX barbecue beef rub. This is the beta version, but by the time this video is out, this is already in the store, so go check it out. Just Google it, you will find it. Most definitely. I'm going to try and put it only on the meat, but make sure you get a nice layer of it everywhere. This is a thick cut of beef, so it can handle more flavor than you think. Now, of course, if the PitmasterX barbecue beef rub is not available to you or in your area, we always have the recipe on our website, pitmasterx.com, so go check that out as well. I'll be cooking on a Kamado Joe Konnected Joe, and this is one of my new favorite barbecues. This thing will make life easy, but it will keep the spirit of barbecue. I'm going to open it up, take out the grill grates and the heat deflectors, put in some charcoal, hit the ignition button, and since the barbecue auto ignites, all I have to do is set the temperature, which is going to be 120 degrees Celsius for that low and slow barbecue. I'm going to add a small chunk of smoke wood, put in the heat deflectors, put in the grill grates. I'm going to let the barbecue come up to temperature. Time to put our beautiful I thought it would fit. Is it going to be a problem? No, it's not. A little surprise. You might want to think about the size of your cow before you pick one of these up. But as it is the first time, I'm going to forgive myself for not checking the size. But it's not really a problem for Kamado Joe, because what we can do is put it in like this at a little bit of an angle, so we can put our beef in and it will fit, no problem. And of course, I also want to make sure I'm going to keep my eye on the temperature. So I'm going to take my 1.2 meter. This thing is freaking awesome. If you have it, if you don't know about it yet, go check it out. I'm going to stick the thermometer in past the point of where the line sits. The emitter is still exposed. This will measure the core temperature of our cow wing. I'm going to close the Kamado Joe. Now I'm going to set the temperature. I'm going to set it to beef, and I'm going to choose brisket, because that's the closest thing to what it is. Set the core temperature to 92 degrees Celsius. Hit start, and as you can see, the core temperature is just below freezing. Oh my, we still have a long way to go on this. We're going to take it nice and slow and give it all the time it needs. We were just discussing how long it was, but no need to wonder. It's been 3 hours and 40 minutes, almost at a temperature of 80 degrees core temperature. And of course, we're aiming for 92, surrounding temperatures almost 120 degrees Celsius. So let's check to see what the color looks like. Oh, wow. That is one beautiful thing. Look at the multi-layered color that we build up with the binder and the rub, as well as the smoke color. The mahogany red that just pops through the crust, and you can see that the meat tore off the bone and started shrinking up. Now the trick is to get this absolutely perfect. So I got the color, which means I got the flavor that I'm looking for. I'm not getting any more flavor than we already have, so I'm going to wrap it up in aluminum foil. Uh-oh, it's big. It's probably gonna fit, but it is so big. I have some big aluminum foil. I mean, a brisket could easily fit in here, but this thing is a monster. Now it goes back onto the barbecue, and of course we have our beautiful divide and conquer system that is saving the day. I'm going to let this continue to cook, and once it reaches a core temperature of 92 degrees Celsius, then we can see what it looks like, and maybe even try it. Well, of course I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. Time to make some sauce. And you might not expect this, but this sauce starts with frying up some bacon. I'm gonna let the bacon cool down, and then I'm going to continue to cook. We got all that bacon grease and goodness sticking to the bottom of that pan. That's going to be the base of this sauce. Now I'm going to add half a cup of honey, and I'm going to let the honey caramelize. Now I know that's a lot of sweetness, but we're going to need that sweetness. That's why I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of molasses. Then I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of ketchup, a tablespoon of Worcester sauce, and we'll let that come up to a syrupy bubble until it's smooth all over. The bacon bits are going to let go of the bottom of the pan and become one with the sauce. Now we can see we have that beautiful syrupy bubble going on. That means that our sauce is done, and it's time to add the rest of the ingredients. A couple of pickled onions, a couple of pickled jalapenos, and once that bacon cooled down, we're going to chop it up. Now we're going to add the bacon bits to the sauce, stir it one more time, and that's how you make the bacon jalapeno sauce. Uses sizzling hot temperatures. That means this is done. A little bit of bubbly. Oh, yo, look at that. What a beauty. Oh, that looks freaking good. Come on. Who wouldn't want that? Of course, we gotta have those juices. I am freaking out. This looks amazing. If all went well, we cooked it to perfection. So let's check. Whoa, this is so tender. I think I can just pull this beef. Oh, it's so tender. Wow. I'm carefully cutting it so it doesn't, whoop, let me see. Yeah, look at that. It pulls straight from the bone. Wow, we got a beautiful smoke ring. This is freaking amazing. Let me get a slice of this. Wow, this is so tender. It is still freaking hot. I maybe should have let it rest a little longer so the juice might flow back a little more, but I'm just gonna show you how juicy this still is. That is still one juicy piece of meat. Now with the flat iron, you always get this big piece of silver skin in between that's still there. It rendered down this collagen and turned it into a soft jelly. That's freaking delicious. And look at that crust that we built up. A beautiful dark crust, a really nice dark red smoke ring, and then the juicy beef that sits inside. Moment of truth. Whoa, okay. This is no longer brisket temperatures. I accidentally went a little too far. This is pulled beef territory. Look at that. It is so tender, it is so fall apart, but it's still so juicy and so tasty. Oh, amazing. This piece of barbecue meat is so freaking cool, I'm renaming it the Bull's Wing. That is so cool.